We have some serious news right now. The Trump administration, according to Politico, is going to force every SNAP recipient to reapply for SNAP benefits in an effort to, quote, root out fraud. But critics are saying that this is just an attempt from Trump to block millions of vulnerable low-income Americans from receiving food assistance. Brooke Rollins told Newsmax, quote, that she plans to have everyone reapply for their benefits, make sure that everyone that's taking a taxpayer-funded benefit through food stamps, that they literally are vulnerable and they can't survive without it. They're going to overhaul SNAP benefits in the coming weeks. But here's the thing, state SNAP administrators already require families to recertify every 6 months that they're eligible for the benefits. Now, it's unclear how this is going to be different, but imagine this federal government processing 42 million plus applications for SNAP. Spread the word. Full updates on my site.
Y'all don't want to hear it because y'all just want to dance, but the real reason why they are really going to cut people food stamps off is because once people miss that first payment, you know what's going to happen? And this is coming from somebody, I used to be on food stamps. When I moved into my first apartment, I was able to get them, and then they cut me off. So I haven't got them again because I make too much money. But what is going to happen when those people miss that first payment? A lot of people are going to magically get a nice little notice saying that they need to recertify.
We have some serious news right now. The Trump administration, according to Politico, is going to force every SNAP recipient to reapply for SNAP benefits in an effort to, quote, root out fraud. But critics are saying that this is just an attempt from Trump to block millions of vulnerable low-income Americans from receiving food assistance. Brooke Rollins told Newsmax, quote, that she plans to have everyone reapply for their benefits, make sure that everyone that's taking a taxpayer-funded benefit through food stamps, that they literally are vulnerable and they can't survive without it.
If you are waiting to be approved for Social Security Disability or SSI, and you've been receiving SNAP food benefits, listen up. Here's what you need to know right now. SNAP just updated its rules for so-called able-bodied adults without dependents. Under the new regulations, if you don't qualify for an exemption, you could be limited to receiving only 3 months of benefits in a 3-month period unless you work or train for about 20 hours per week or prove a disability. Now, if you're applying for disability and haven't yet been approved, you might technically qualify for the disability exemption from that time limit, but you still must prove that you're exempt. That means gathering current medical documentation showing that you cannot do physical work or meet the training or hours expectation. Your doctor must write it down. Unable to work due to fill-in-the-blank condition. Medical restrictions prevent 20 hours per week of labor. That kind of language matters. Here's what to do. Talk to your doctor right away. Ask for a note that you're waiting on Social Security approval and that your condition limits substantial work. Call your state SNAP office, tell them that your disability is pending, and ask what proof they accept. Because if the rule applies in your county and you don't act, you risk losing food benefits even while you wait for Social Security. Don't let this gap go on.
Y'all not making a bit of goddamn sense to me. I am so tired of reading. I'm not happy about the babies and the senior citizens and the disabled people not getting their SNAP benefits. It's the people that abuse the system. Newsflash. If there are people that abuse the system, then whose fault is that? The system. If these people who you saying should not get SNAP benefits, they went down there and applied for those SNAP benefits. So the system said that they are approved. So now because people get $600 in stamps or $700 in stamps or $200 in stamps for the ones that don't qualify, y'all are absolutely just, because you couldn't get it. So a lot of people are really happy because of this. Y'all are some insane fucks. Insane. If there is people on the program abusing the system, I'm sure it's about a small percentage. Because they do their homework on people when they go and apply for these benefits. So y'all need to really think about what y'all saying. Why these children and disabled and veterans and senior citizens have not received their SNAP benefits. Don't say I'm not happy about that. It's just the ones that, so everybody gotta goddamn it suffer. Y'all crazy as shit.
Able-bodied adults without dependents ages 18 to 49 to 55, depending on the state, were required to work, undergo job training, perform voluntary community service, or participate in education programs for 80 hours a month to continue to receive benefits past 3 months every 3 years. The maximum age is now raised to 65. Veterans, homeless individuals, and former foster children are no longer exempt from the work requirement. Parents with dependents under 18 were exempt from this requirement. The exemption age has been lowered to apply only to parents with children under age 14. States are prohibited from issuing waivers of the work requirement for individuals who cannot find work unless their area has a 10% or greater unemployment rate. All of you guys saying that they need to work, they were already required to work. They were already required to work. The only people who got exemptions were those people who probably wouldn't be able to work anyway.
Well. It looks like everyone has to reapply for food stamps, Medicaid, and everything else from all the waste. All the illegals getting benefits that a lot of the American people are not getting. What are your thoughts? Do you agree or disagree?
Starve people. Now they want to starve them again. The Trump administration just floated a plan to force every single SNAP recipient, seniors, parents, disabled people, low-income workers, to reapply from scratch to prove they deserve food. Not because there's evidence of mass fraud. No, not because it helps families, but because starving people is now a political tactic. They already cut off full benefits during a government shutdown they created. They already told states to undo approved November benefits. And now the next step, make millions of vulnerable Americans jump through impossible hoops just to keep basic groceries. This isn't about efficiency. This isn't about fraud. This isn't about anything else. This is about punishment. This is about humiliation. This is about reminding poor people that their survival can be taken away at any single moment. And if you think this stops with SNAP recipients, think again. Authoritarians always start with the most vulnerable, and then they expand. So, maybe you're next.
Woo-wee, y'all. Let's get into it. So, now, the Trump administration, according to Politico, they're going to have every SNAP recipient reapply to cut out fraud. So, they're going to have, this administration is going to have over 42 million people reapply for SNAP that they have to go through. That's a fucking joke. We all know they don't do their jobs. And second, per state, they have to reapply every 6 months anyway. So I don't know how this is going to play out or go, but what fucking sense does it make? Again, just another something to take our mind off of one thing long enough to piss us off about another thing. We're pissed at you anyway. It doesn't matter what you say now. We all are watching, we're hearing, we're listening, and we're speaking up, we're speaking out about it, fucker. So yeah, like, share, follow, comment. What do y'all think about this? He could possibly be starving millions of people because I don't think they're going to get through that 42 million anytime soon. Cheers.
Mention all SNAP recipients, no matter what state you are from. This video is just for you. Come on, sip a little tea with Auntie. Let's talk about it. So Donald Trump, y'all, said there's a lot of fraud going on with SNAP benefits. So what he's going to do is have each state make our recipients reapply. What does that mean for you? If you are applied and you put all the correct information on your application and you deserve to receive SNAP benefits, then this video ain't for you. You ain't got nothing to do with it. But if you one of those ones that lie and say you pay $1,700 in rent and really your rent is $300 or you stay with somebody else, they're going to look into everything. What is going to happen to you? You're going to be charged with felony theft, fraud. For however the amount of food stamps you receive and didn't get this, you're going to have to pay restitution. And it's not going to be, back in food stamps because you don't qualify for them. You're going to have to get them people that $15,000 that you received in food stamps back out your cash money. Not to mention you're going to be listed as a convicted felony and charged with felony theft, fraud, y'all. So this is the time when them people, because they're going to ask everybody in every state to reapply. When it's time for you to reapply, if you know you got some fraudulent stuff on your application, I suggest you not reapply. Go and let the people keep their stuff, or reapply with the correct information. Because if not, if you are caught, which they're going to be doing a whole lot of investigation prying into your business, you don't want that to happen, baby. You better fly straight, y'all. I done gave y'all a heads up. This is what's going to happen. Donald Trump is working on it currently to make everybody reapply. Thank y'all for sipping a little more tea with IT. Bye, y'all.
Administration just isn't going to stop until every poor person is living on the street, and then they can arrest them and put them into one of their work camps. That's the objective here. If you haven't heard, it just came out. They are going to make over 42 million people reapply for SNAP. They are changing the way you get SNAP. So not starting in 2026, starting now, in the next couple of weeks, you will have to reapply for your SNAP benefits because they want to weed out fraud. I get that. That's great. But most states, or I'm going to say 99% of the 50 states, require every 6 months that you do recertify for SNAP. I'm in New Jersey. I know every 6 months in New Jersey, if you're on SNAP, you have to recertify your income. But now, December next month, if you don't recertify or you don't qualify right before Christmas, you're just screwed. No food, no Christmas dinner, no nothing, because they're changing the rules as we go along. The goal is to starve people, get them out on the street, and put them into RFK's work camp. Because we already have homeless people we took from Washington, D.C. living in a camp in Wisconsin. It is already there.
I knew as soon as you bitches stamps came back on that you was going to be back the same. I'm bitter because you get EBT. Your kids go to public school eating free lunch. You don't care if your baby daddy or a estranged husband pays 50% of your child's tuition or lunch money or uniforms or activities because you don't fucking have them in activities. Let's make that clear. But guess what? Trump is not done with you. He wants all that money back from the states who has funded those EBT cards. So spend wisely, bitch. Now you're back to calling people bitter. You EBT warriors are back to calling mothers of substance like me bitter because you got all the free benefits. You got all the, you wasn't singing that song 2 weeks ago. You all were crying, want to have people to have cookouts for you. But it's going to come back.
Breaking news out this morning that is not going to get the attention it deserves because the dumpster fire vending machine that is the Trump administration can't stop pumping out salacious headlines. But 5 years from now, if unaddressed, this story is the one that's going to be sticking with us because the New York Times just got their hands on a 100-page document from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. This document's expected to be released to the public in the next couple of days, and when it does, it will be a multi-billion-dollar bomb on the housing market. Now, I'm particularly close to this because I worked in housing and finance for 8 years, and I led a grant committee for a major nonprofit for the better part of a decade that helped allocate millions of dollars to housing and financial education programs. Now, essentially what we're talking about here is the value of housing first. This is a data-backed philosophy that says when a person is given housing before any other treatment, it becomes significantly more likely to successfully address other challenges like addiction and mental illness, leaving them in a better place to ultimately get back on their feet and live an independent life if health permits. But just like with the Trump attacks on Medicaid, the Trump administration's position is that you have to first fix yourself before you're entitled to help. This policy is so bad that last month, 20 House Republicans co-signed a letter that was published to Politico where they begged the Trump administration not to make these cuts for calendar year 2026. In this letter, they said that these changes should be implemented carefully to avoid destabilizing programs that serve individuals with severe disabilities related to mental illness, chronic health conditions, or substance use disorders in addition to seniors with disabilities. In that letter, these 20 Republicans warned that severe cuts to this program for 2026 could result in almost 200,000 people being pushed out onto the street in 1 year. But these Republicans forgot that with Trump, the cruelty is always the point. Because in the notice that was published in the New York Times today, Trump wants to cut $2 billion from Housing First programs, a full 2/3 of the budget. And those cuts would take effect in January, less than 2 months from now, to a program that has been the North Star for housing since 2009. Now, normally cuts this size would have to go through Congress, but they're getting around this because they aren't actually cutting the $2 billion. They're reallocating it from Housing First programs to sobriety and mental health programs. And these programs kick people out after 2 years. Essentially, what the Trump administration is telling people is you have to get healthy and sober on your own in order to earn the right to housing assistance. And then after 2 years, you're pushed back out into the world with the expectation that nothing ever goes wrong again. Now, if this sounds malicious and doomed to fail, yes, exactly. Because this policy was effectively written for the Trump administration by the Cicero Institute, a far-right think tank led by a billionaire who just happened to co-found Palantir with Peter Thiel. Now, you can look up the Cicero Institute on your own, but I can guarantee you nothing good comes from them. Put a very fine point on it. The lobbyist from the Cicero Institute said Housing First expects too much of people by assuming everyone was ready for housing. Ready for housing? What's the alternative to housing? Prison? Yes, prison. Because while with one hand Trump's policies defund housing programs, with the other he's criminalizing homelessness across the country, effectively funneling homeless people into prison while funneling billions of dollars away from nonprofits, social workers, nurses, and doctors, and the developers and landlords that support these Housing First programs, and directly into the prison system, which costs billions more and does nothing to help people live a better life. Now, if this all sounds terrible to you, correct. But
breaking news, foodie gang. According to Political, Trump is going to force every SNAP recipient to reapply for benefits. See? This is what I said in my last video, and I've been saying it time and time again. When y'all gonna start listening to Chef Big Bang? Because Chef Big Bang got her eye on the streets, and I know what's going on. Next, they're coming for the housing, and they're coming for everything else. It is unfortunate because millions of people are going to lose their benefits or not be able to reapply, but the writing is on the wall. They don't want to help people. They don't want to give out assistance, and they are watching the internet. They are seeing these food stamp hauls. They're seeing these EBT queens. They're seeing these looting videos of people saying that they're going to take from the store, and they say, you know what we going to do? We're going to cut y'all off. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Check out these videos down below. Hit the like, share, subscribe button, and join the channel, and give you a membership. See y'all next time. Foodie gang, gang, gang. Foodie gang, gang, gang.